Hello. Light a candle, spark up some Nag Champa, take some deep breaths in and out, and then let's rip and tear into some demons in Doom the Dark Ages, where it is the Dark Ages, but there's technology, and also I'm not sure if it's in the past or if this is the future of some kind, or if this is the same Slayer as before. I don't know. There's a lot more story in this one than there's ever been in this iteration of the series, and I'm not following any of it. I don't know why I'm doing any of these things that I'm doing, but I do know that the things I'm doing are disgusting, violent, and oh so soothing. Doom the Dark Ages accomplishes something I never imagined a Doom game would. It has lulled me into a state of inner peace and calm. I am touching the bright, colorful expanse of eternal serenity every time I whack a demon again and again and again with my flail, chunking it apart more each time I do it until it's reduced to a state of primordial goo and, rather advantageously, health and armor replenishments for me. For a game that is so fast-paced, so gory, so nightmarish, so frenetic, and so much like you jumped into the world of a metal album cover, there's something oddly relaxing about Doom the Dark Ages, something maybe even a little meditative. As I've been playing, I found myself entranced by its hypnotic, hyper-violent combat rhythms. It could be the new parry mechanics that turn the game into a bullet-hell guitar hero that, in typical Doom fashion, urges you, compels you, to run toward the onslaught rather than away from it, by enticing you with these green glowing attacks that you can repel back to your enemy with something that feels a little bit like a pleasantly droning musical rhythm. A peaceful rhythm that accompanies the outrageous violence that feels simultaneously comforting and extraordinarily disconcerting. What are we doing here making this kind of shit so wonderful? We've not only optimized ultra-violence, but we've found a way to make it feel like we can reach enlightenment through brutality, with every satisfying smush and crunch and explosion and sizzle of searing flesh. The boom of the guns, the terrifying speedy stomps of the Slayer as he marches through a combat field, springing forward in a sudden jolt to Kool-Aid Man straight through a demon. All of this natural, pleasant musicality is enhanced by the music, or, rather, the lack thereof. The natural sounds of the series are far more front-facing than ever now that the series lost the man responsible for its iconic soundtracks, Mick Gordon. Gordon and id got into a dispute, and they went their separate ways. I don't envy whoever had to do the music for Doom the Dark Ages. They put in a valiant effort, but it's hard to compete with Mick Gordon's perfection. Sometimes I don't know if there even is music playing. It feels barely there, existing softly in the background, a little bashful, as if it were purposely trying to go unnoticed, as opposed to Mick Gordon's soundtracks, which kicked you in the face until you died. Considering how spectacular Gordon's contributions to the previous Doom games were, I would have naturally assumed that his talents would be sorely missed in Doom the Dark Ages. And while I'm sure the already great Doom the Dark Ages would have been significantly better had its music been a part of it, there's something kind of pleasant about having a modern Doom game where the music isn't trying to match the intensity of the combat rhythms. At times, the music fades into the distance and the natural sounds of the Slayer's tidal wave of violence come to the fore, creating something that feels a little bit like a Doom Slayer ASMR video, where you experience some pleasant tingling up and down your spine as you, say, shoot fragments of crushed skull at your enemies with the pulverizer. Oh, sorry, I should have given you a spoiler alert about the gun that shoots skull fragments. All in all, it would be a stretch to say that Doom the Dark Ages feels like a Doom-themed ambient soundscape YouTube video. But the Dark Ages is touching a kind of meditative zen that you can't quite get in the previous entries of the series. Of course, you probably couldn't actually use it to meditate, because even if the game's natural soundscapes allow me to more quickly and efficiently enter a flow state, Doom games only produce the kinds of sounds that keep you up at night, haunting your dreams. I think the most succinct way to describe it is with an obnoxious mashup of two video game genre shorthands. Doom: The Dark Ages is, to me at least, not a first-person shooter as much as it's a cozy boomer shooter. Shifting the music back a little makes it an unexpectedly zen experience that made me zone out as I became enraptured by its rhythms and flows like the ohms and hums of guided meditation. Every time a freaky little dude pops out, I slip into a peaceful fugue state of violence, in a way that I didn't with the previous entries in the series, particularly Doom Eternal, which felt more like an unrelenting stress test. So, my advice to you is that if you're going to play Doom: The Dark Ages, turn down the lights, fire up a candle, burn your favorite incense stick, and then bring yourself one step closer to enlightenment every time you liquefy a demon with a shotgun. Namaste.